Corey. Thanks. For more on Apple, we're joined by Ashok Kumar, senior tech analyst at Rodman Renshaw. Ashok is a Bloomberg Best Apple analyst, and he rates Apple stock as market outperform. He recently raised his target price from $400 to $450, and he joins us from Stanford, California. Ashok, welcome to Bottom Line. Thanks so much for coming on today.
Thank you.
Some of the news that we're getting here, the A5 chip will be in the new Apple i4S, 7 times faster than the processor in the old model. Tell me about this change and how it's going to enhance the smartphone experience for iPhone users.
Now, to recap what Corey said, right, the company has about 5% of overall handset market share, 20%, just under 20% in terms of smartphone market share, but captures 50% of the industry profits. The center stage today and beyond is going to be the software. That's what creates a stickiness in the Apple ecosystem. Over 20 billion applications have been downloaded from the App Store by 200 million iPod, iPhone, and iPod Touch users, and the company has paid out $2.5 billion to the software development community.
Yeah.
And that's what is going to differentiate Apple's offerings today and beyond.
But specifically, my question about that A5 chip, that's the chip that's right now in the latest version of the iPad, excuse me. How is that going to enhance the experience for smartphone users?
No, I think the graphical interface and the graphical functionality is going to be far better than the current A4 iteration, and that product roadmap will continue with A6, which will power the iPad 3. But again, the form factor will be broadly in line with the current iteration. You have faster graphics, better memory capacity. I think different era interfaces closer towards 4G, not quite 4G, but 3G plus, and all of that along with the iPhone ecosystem is what is going to create a better user experience.
Ashok, this is the first time since the iPhone's inception that its newest products will be available on all of the major phone carriers. What's the significance of that as far as Apple's dominance of the smartphone market's concerned?
Yeah, that's a very important point. So today, the iPhone is available in 105 countries, through 228 carriers, and those carriers and regions represent about 2.5 billion, wireless subscribers, worldwide, or less than half of global, wireless customer base. So we think the company can continue to expand its footprint. Just to give you an idea, sensitivity analysis, an incremental 10 million units adds about 20 cents to the bottom line. So we think the company can generate another 30 to 50 million iPhone incremental sales over the next few years, which should generate another $6 to $10 in earnings power on an incremental basis.
Ashok, this was Apple's first major product unveiling in years that wasn't led by Steve Jobs. He resigned as CEO in August after being out on indefinite medical leave since the beginning of the year. His successor, Tim Cook, taking the lead today. How's he doing so far, from what you can tell?
So far, I think the feedback from the employees as well as the outside community has been extremely positive. I think his job number one is to keep the executive team intact, and he has done that well. And so he's well regarded, by the Apple employees. And unlike, its neighbor across Hewlett-Packard, which has gone through 7 CEOs in the last 10 years, I think Steve Jobs has done an admirable job in terms of, grooming a successor over the better part of last decade.
Ashok, before I let you go, I did mention in the intro that you raised your target price $400 to $450, and you do have a market outperform on Apple. Tell us your metrics. Tell us what you saw that caused you to make this adjustment.
Absolutely. So we think the company can ship, looking out of fiscal 12, the company's iPhone and iPad business will represent two-thirds of the company's top line. So that can power about 30% top line growth to 140 billion, about $35 in earnings per share. So if you look at a low teens multiple and add back what we think will be the cash position, about $150 end of next year, we think the price target can be $450 or higher looking out 12 months.
Ashok Kumar, senior tech analyst, Rodman Renshaw, joining us from Stanford, California. Ashok, thanks so much for your time today. We appreciate it.